Moxie's feeling her oats this morning. She's a little too rough for Diesel. Diesel gets sick of it quick. You buy $10 toys and they shred them, but you give them a piece of rope. They've had this piece of rope for 2 or 3 years. Moxie. Huh? You a good girl? Hmm? Okay, let's go up to the van. Haven't had a fire here for what? Probably 12, 14 hours. 65, not bad. So Carol's got, oh, what do we got here? About 6 trays on this side, plus a couple small ones. Good 5 trays, 6 trays on that side. So, yeah, Moxie's out here still going crazy. And Carol's gonna go and, what are we planting today, dear? Catnip, delphinium, and yeah, several delphiniums. That was one of those things that either she forgot to order or they didn't send, one or the other. So we had to go buy them local. That's okay. The snow is just about gone out here. Probably got you too close to the screen so you can't hardly see nothing. Go to a window with no screen. Now looks a little better. So you can see we're just about bare ground here. Right in the middle of mud season. So let's get downstairs. Show you what ran into for a problem on the John Deere A. Started to do a regular grease job. And this is what we ended up with. I got down there, you can see the mud guard is bent. It's just cut right off. The bearings were smoked. This piece here, I don't even know what that was. I have never actually had these front ends on this particular tractor apart. It's one of those things that when I bought this tractor, I took it apart and completely rebuilt all the transmission and engine. And had it 100% apart. But what I did was, over at my father's, I blocked it up down here. I unbolted the front frame and the front pedestal. I slid it ahead with the radiator on it, set it on the ground, and I did everything back. And that would have been in 1995. Summer of 94, actually, I guess. Yeah, because it was after July 4th in 94. I don't very often remember stuff, but stuff pertaining right around West Virginia when I was working in the oil field, I can remember that stuff. When I brought it home, I took it apart. I never took the hubs off the rear axles. Those have never been off, but I did pull the rear axles out, replace these seals, and replace the bearings in here. I actually did a lot of work to it. Went through the brakes. But, so how long ago was 94, you know? It's almost 30 years ago. So, maybe it is 30 years ago. Yeah, 94. Yeah, I guess 30 years ago. So it was a while ago. Anyway, this front end I've never been into because between the bearings was this piece of tin, which I don't have a clue what that was for. Didn't belong in there. Something that somebody had put in, and it looks to me like oil field tin. All the old oil field buildings were covered with that galvanized tin with silver paint on them. And this was, you know, out of the oil fields, so I don't know. But anyway, that bearing on the inside is smoked. I'll find the race if I can find it. It's not wicked bad. I've seen a lot worse. But it's definitely seen its better days. And it was well lubricated. I mean, well, you see, the damn grease was right through the whole thing. So, unfortunately, I took this front medallion off. I went in there and I greased that gear. And I mean, I slathered it right friggin' full of grease and oil, not realizing that I had a bad bearing down here. Then I jacked up the front end so that I could spin the wheel back and forth several times just to mix this oil and grease together. And when I jacked it up, I noticed the wheel flopped out. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, that ain't good. So here we are. So I've got another spindle. This one here is worn quite a lot on the bottom. I don't know how much. I got to do some measuring. The threads are wore a lot right here. I got another spindle right here. I think it's the same spindle, and I think it's in better shape. This one here has got a different set of hubs on it, though. These hubs, the wheels are outboard more. By about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. I'd have to measure it to see. I would say it's about 2 inches. Whoop, that's backwards, ain't it? Yeah, that goes this way. Maybe more than 2 inches. No, about 2 inches. So, yeah, a little different. They're the same overall length, just where the flanges is different. This one's right on the outside right here, and this one's in. So, I didn't even know they made 2 different type of front hubs on these. But, anyway, the offsets on the tires, I don't know if you would just reverse the tires and put the stems on the inside and end up with the same configuration. This is something I haven't run into before. So, they are sharp on this side. They are not intended to be reversed. If they were intended to be reversed, you know, they would have this bevel. So, those go one way. So apparently, depending on how wide you wanted your front wheels, or they may have sold a different set of front rims. Not sure, but I'm going to get into this. I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to put some fuel in it, back it out, turn it around so that I have a way to pick it up with a tractor to pull that front shaft out when I get ready. So I've been disassembling and cleaning. This here is the dust shield that holds the felts that was on the one that I took off. This here is more like what it's supposed to be, although it would need a lot of straightening to use it. This one came off the other hub. So, but I did get a real good clamp off of, well, off of this front end, which I think I'm going to use. You'll notice mine has all the shield still on it. Or this one does, rather. I'm going to put the torch to it and bend that out. And this one is in pretty good shape. The threads are much better than the threads on that one. And there's no wear at all that you can feel up here. It's just smooth as a kitty's ear. And down here feels good. So everything is nice on that front end, that spindle. But these were not, I mean, they didn't go to hell from lack of grease. I haven't greased them yet this year, but, you know, it's been 2-3 years. But as you can see, everything was chock-a-block full of good old grease. So it wasn't like they hadn't been greased. But got stuff in there so it don't get on the ground. I had a 9 right there, trying to run the camera around here without it getting too nasty. But what do we got here? We got something in the way. Yeah, there's something here going on. I gotta wash that. I don't know if I got a cotter pin here in the way. Something there. Yeah, I think the cotter pin driven through and it's right there. That's what's frigging me up. Anyway, I'll get that cotter pin driven out, and because there is one in it. And I'll get this hub off, and then I'll show you how messed up it is. Now that the hub is off, you know, right here there's supposed to be a flange that one that I said I had to straighten a little bit on the other one. You know, here it is over here. This one here is all bent up. It is in place right here on the front a little bit, and I think it might be, yeah, it is on this front too. But this thing is wore out. This bottom right here where the bearing race runs has probably, I don't know, feels like 20 thousandths, 15, 20 thousandths wear on it. So there's a lot of wear on this front spindle, and we're gonna change it. I hate to do it because it's a pain to drop everything here, but yeah, it's one nut, one big nut, get the gear to pull, and once I get it dropped down onto a 6x6 here, which I'll just drop it down, tractor's sitting outside the door with the forks on it. I'm gonna come in, I'll run a chain underneath the front here, I'll pick it up, let that thing, well, I'll pick it up till it's almost ready to drop out, then I'll get out here and just tip it out, pull it, and at the same time, I'm gonna take the old one, I'm gonna stuff it right back in, set it down real careful. I'll get it down to where it's almost ready to hit the stuff up top, and I'll just stop, and then I'll come out here and I'll lift it up manually to make sure it goes up through with no damage, and then I'll prop something underneath it and get the nuts and all that stuff started, and I'll set it down. So just one of those things, you know, a little bit of dubbing, a couple hours I should be done. I just ordered all the bearings, $100 a side, and I ordered a clutch cover for that tractor there. For the old 43 John Deere B that I cultivate with, I ordered a clutch cover for that because that one's in here and it won't stay on anymore. It's just wore out. And so far that one's not got a bunch of mud daubers in it, and I want to get the cover on it before it gets all frigged up with, you know, bugs in there. So anyway, just normal stuff, $375 to Steiner again. But most of their stuff's pretty good. Sometimes I get something I don't like. But I'd say 90% of it, 95% of it probably is pretty good stuff. You know, once in a while some of the crap they get from China is subpar, but you know, what the hell. There's nobody in the United States making it anymore. And, you know, I don't know. I ain't gonna get started on that either, so we'll just leave that one alone. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna pull this out. I'll probably put you on time lapse when I do it. Just wanted to show you this. This is the front plate off on them John Deere's. 3 out of the 4 holes are already there for you. I did have to file a little bit, but I mean, and I moved that one there maybe down a 1/16 on one edge, and then I only had to drill one actual hole. And anyway, a couple of knots. Put some tension on it. It just went down. Yeah, it ain't fell right out yet, so that's a good thing. So the gear went down about 3/8 of an inch, pretty near. So now we'll just see, now that it's broke loose. There we go. Don't know if I was aimed at you or not. I was watching where I was hitting. But that was 3 little taps, and as you can see, she's going down through. So, I'm going to go get the tractor here and we'll go up. Okay, fought like a son of a gun for that. I got it in now. Don't have the gear in up top. But what happened was the shield that goes to the thrust bearing that weight of the tractor sets on, it had been beat. I don't know if this has ever been apart. I'd never had that apart. And, you know, it might have been the first time. But that tin piece was beat to the point where once it got driven up off, I couldn't get it back down onto the machine surface. Well, I finally put the jack all the way down, dropped it down far enough that I could actually hit it down, and I managed to get it on. So right now, what I'm doing is I've got the adjustment. This is an eccentric, and well, let's say this right here is where the gear goes. This is about where the pin goes. So I got to find where my narrowest spot is, because I want to put the narrowest spot so that I can get the gear over more. Right? Am I doing that right, or am I? Yeah, because I'm actually moving the shaft, so I want to go with the narrowest spot. So I'll figure that out here in a minute. Well, I got the gear dropped in. I don't have that cotter pinned yet because, you know, till I get it set right. And I went too far on my adjustment. I'm a little tight. So I need to come in here. And there is a, well, it's underneath all that spooge down there. But right about where the light is, right about there, there's a screwdriver pin. I'll back that out, and then I should be able to move that eccentric bushing. We'll see if it works like it's supposed to. So you can see that 3/8 thread right there. This pin goes in it, or bolt, whatever you want to call it. And that corresponds with these notches. And this right here is drilled eccentric. And that's how you move your sector gear over against your worm gear. So real simple, but it can be a pain in the ass. I am going to, originally you can see right there where it was, I'm going to move it 2 notches. I just had it 4 notches a minute ago. And that was too much. So let's see now, that's the one that my thumb is on that I don't want. Come on. Okay. Shut that light off, because this is more of a feel thing than, there we go. It just dropped down in. And what I like to do is once that's to where you know you've got the hole plugged up, then you can put that screw back in. Because I'm always a little nervous. If you drop that screw down in that center and it's going to land in all that grease, you might do a little bit of swearing before you get it back. And I've done enough of that today already off camera. Because as you know, this hasn't been going good. I thought this was going to be a 10-minute thing here. Okay, I got that tight. That locks that. So now our front end is about straight across. So I'm going to set this down there, right about where it's supposed to go. We'll jack her up. You can see the bearing fell down. So now I got to deal with 2 or 3 things here moving. Yeah, it's coming right up through the middle. Good. Oh, just hit on the, yeah, let's see here what we can do. I don't know what you're looking at, but anyway, don't really matter. Oh. There we go. Okay. everything went about where it was supposed to. So, one nut and one washer. And I'm not going to tighten it very tight this time. Last time I walked it right up as if it was, you know, there, and then I had to get that homemade puller out. Yeah, you guys ain't aimed at shit right now. Anyway. Let's hold that stuff around here, because I can see right now where it's going to end up. In case you're curious, this is inch and 7/16. Let's see how that steers now. Pretty good. It's a little loose still, but gotta go. Yeah, of course it's going to turn the steering wheel. I got about 2 inches of rim travel before it hits the sector gear. Yeah, that ain't bad. Take this off the bottom. What a mess, huh? Oh, that makes it spin much easier. So, anyway, out in the field, that little bit of 2 inch ain't gonna bother nothing. Going down the road, it might. If this was a parade queen, you'd probably aim for a little tighter. But anyway, I'm not gonna worry about it. All I gotta do now is put a cotter pin in up here, make a gasket for this, because I never had a gasket in it before. It should have a gasket on it. I'll clean her up, and yeah, I ain't gonna show no more. I just gotta put them 4 bolts in. I gotta put some silicone around that, because I wasn't gonna take it down and put a gasket on, because you can see half the gasket over there. I didn't plan on breaking that seal, so I got all frigged up. But they make silicone for things like that. And yeah, so that's gonna be it. Changing the front spindle on a John Deere A. It's not a real big deal. The worst part is picking the tractor up and down. So, but I did have a son of a bitch of a time with this one. So, that was about 2 hours of actual work, probably getting it done to where I'm at now, because a lot of it was fighting with it and washing, you know. I went through a whole, almost a half gallon of gasoline here. And yeah, it's a mess. So, anyway, take care, everybody. That's going to be it for this video. We'll see you on the next one. Next video coming will probably be in a couple of days when we get the rest of the parts from Steiner.